Welcome, miladies of inestimable value. The future belongs to those who dare to be different. In a world where everyone is scrambling to fit in, Sigma females are quietly rewriting the rules. No announcements, no applause, just raw, unapologetic power. Here's a fact to chew on. Over 70% of women admit they feel pressured to conform to societal expectations. Yet Sigma females couldn't care less about playing by those rules. They've built an entirely different game. These women aren't just a trend, they're a revolution, operating under the radar, disrupting outdated notions of femininity and leaving everyone else wondering, what is she up to? The answer, building the future. And spoiler alert, it's not pink, delicate, or wrapped in a bow. If you've ever wondered what it looks like when femininity ditches the corset and grabs the driver's seat, stick around. You're about to find out. Number 1, Unchained by legacy. Sigma females are the ultimate rule breakers in a world that thrives on tradition and conformity. Unlike past generations who fought tooth and nail to carve out a space in societal frameworks, these women aren't interested in fitting in at all. Belonging isn't their goal, and legacy isn't their leash. They're not here to inherit anyone's idea of femininity. They're here to dismantle it and rebuild something entirely their own. While past movements focused on equality or inclusion, Sigma females operate on an entirely different wavelength. They don't seek approval or permission. They move through life with a kind of quiet defiance that makes them nearly impossible to categorize. They don't follow the breadcrumbs left by others. They torch the path and create a new one, leaving behind a trail of innovation, independence, and intrigue. For Sigma females, femininity isn't a set of expectations or inherited roles, it's a blank canvas. They reject the cookie-cutter notions of what it means to be a woman, refusing to be confined by labels like nurturer, caregiver, or career-driven. They can be all of those things or none of them, depending on what serves their purpose. Their power lies in their ability to define themselves on their own terms, no matter how uncomfortable that makes others. They don't chase belonging because they understand it often comes with compromise, watering down who you are to fit into spaces that were never designed for you in the first place. Sigma females would rather stand alone in their authenticity than be celebrated for a version of themselves that isn't real. This unchained mindset isn't rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's a calculated refusal to play a game they never signed up for. They're not just rejecting legacy, they're obliterating it and proving that the future is theirs to write, one unapologetic step at a time. Number 2, femininity as a spectrum. Sigma. Females have dismantled the outdated idea that femininity fits into a neat little box. To them, it's not about wearing a specific label or meeting societal expectations. It's about embracing every layer of their identity, no matter how contradictory it might seem. They can be fiercely independent and deeply nurturing, bold and introspective, assertive and empathetic, all at once. It's this fluidity that makes their femininity a spectrum, rather than a rigid definition. They don't perform femininity, they embody it in their own way. One day they might be negotiating in a boardroom with unshakable confidence, and the next they're quietly recharging alone, reading a book. Both versions are equally valid, equally powerful. This adaptability isn't indecision, it's their strength. They understand that identity isn't static, it shifts with experience, environment, and self-awareness. What sets Sigma females apart is their refusal to let anyone dictate what their femininity should look like. They don't care if they're too soft for some or too hard for others. They don't shrink themselves to fit into someone else's comfort zone. Instead, they expand the idea of what it means to be a woman, proving that femininity can be strong without being harsh, vulnerable without being weak, and complex without being confusing. This personal approach to femininity sends a clear message. There's no right way to exist as a woman. Sigma females blur the traditional boundaries and create a space where individuality thrives. They show that femininity isn't a performance for others. It's a deeply personal journey of self-discovery and self-expression. And that's what makes it so powerful. It's impossible to replicate because it belongs solely to them. Number 3, no space for mediocrity. For Sigma females, mediocrity is the ultimate betrayal, both to themselves and the world around them. They don't just avoid it, they obliterate it. These women hold themselves to a standard that doesn't allow for half-hearted effort or surface-level ambition. Excellence isn't just a goal, it's the bare minimum. Yet, their pursuit of greatness doesn't come at the expense of their humanity. They demand more from themselves and others not out of arrogance, but because they know settling is a form of slow self-destruction. They approach everything with intention. Whether it's their career, relationships, or personal growth, Sigma females give it everything they've got or nothing at all. They see no point in lukewarm efforts because they understand one thing most people don't. Life rewards authenticity and hard work, not shortcuts or excuses. This mindset pushes them to not only excel, but to inspire others to rise to the occasion as well. But here's the twist. While they demand excellence, they don't demand perfection. They understand that being human comes with flaws and failures. To them, striving for excellence isn't about being flawless. It's about refusing to settle for less than what you're capable of, even when it's messy or uncomfortable. They'll stumble, they'll fail, but they'll always fail forward. Their intolerance for mediocrity extends to the people they surround themselves with. They don't waste time with those who are content with being average or afraid of growth. If you're in their orbit, you're either leveling up or you're being left behind. It's not cruelty, it's clarity. Sigma females understand that excellence attracts excellence, and they have no patience for anything or anyone that holds them back. In a world that often celebrates mediocrity for the sake of convenience, Sigma females stand as a bold reminder that striving for greatness is always worth it, even if it ruffles a few feathers along the way. Number 4, they challenge the idea of nice. Sigma females couldn't care less about being labeled nice. They've learned that nice is often a code word for agreeable, compliant, and easy to control, qualities they have absolutely no use for. To them, authenticity is far more valuable than forced politeness. And if being true to themselves makes others uncomfortable, that's not their problem. They aren't here to make everyone feel good. They're here to live unapologetically. Being nice often comes with the price of self-betrayal, biting your tongue when you should speak, saying yes when you mean no, and putting everyone else's comfort ahead of your own. Sigma females reject that deal entirely. They'd rather risk being misunderstood than dilute who they are to fit into someone else's expectations. Authenticity for them is non-negotiable, even if it earns them labels like difficult or cold. But don't mistake their lack of interest in being nice for a lack of compassion. Sigma females are deeply empathetic, but they don't show it through surface-level pleasantries. Their kindness is rooted in honesty, and sometimes honesty stings. They'd rather give you the uncomfortable truth than sugarcoat a lie. It's this rare mix of integrity and emotional strength that sets them apart. They're not here to be liked. They're here to be real. And here's the kicker. They don't need your approval to feel whole. Sigma females understand that the people who matter will respect them for their authenticity, not their ability to keep everyone happy. They don't chase after validation or bend themselves into shapes they were never meant to fit. In a world obsessed with appearances, they remind us that being authentic is far more powerful than being nice, and a lot more liberating. Number 5, rejecting the cult of overexposure. In an age where oversharing has become a currency and attention is the ultimate prize, Sigma females have opted out of the race entirely. They understand a powerful truth that most overlook. The less you reveal, the more control you have. While the world is busy broadcasting every thought, accomplishment, and trivial detail of their lives, Sigma females embrace the art of mystery. They know that keeping parts of themselves unseen doesn't make them invisible, it makes them untouchable. They don't feel the need to shout about their achievements or broadcast their every move for validation. Why? Because they're secure in who they are. Their worth isn't tied to likes, applause, or applause. It's rooted in their own quiet confidence. By choosing what to share and what to keep hidden, they maintain control over their narrative in a way that others can't. But don't mistake their silence for weakness. Sigma females understand that the loudest voice in the room is often masking insecurity. They'd rather let their actions speak for themselves. Their power lies in their ability to remain unpredictable. They aren't an open book for anyone to flip through. They're a locked journal, and only those who've earned their trust get a peek inside. In rejecting the cult of overexposure, Sigma females force others to lean in, to pay attention, to wonder. And in that wondering, they become unforgettable. They remind the world that true power doesn't need to advertise itself. It doesn't scream for attention. It commands it through presence, purpose, and a quiet, unshakable aura of self-assurance. Mystery for Sigma females isn't just a choice. It's their sharpest weapon in a world that's lost the value of discretion. Number 6. Radically selfish for all the right reasons. Sigma females have mastered the art of radical selfishness. And no, it's not what you think. They're not selfish in the sense of being cold, callous, or dismissive of others. Instead, they unapologetically put themselves first because they understand a simple, brutal truth. You can't pour from an empty cup. Being self-sacrificial may win applause in the short term, but in the long run, it's the quickest path to burnout, bitterness, and resentment. This isn't about being self-absorbed, it's about survival. Sigma females recognize that constantly putting others' needs above their own doesn't make them noble. It makes them a martyr, and they have no interest in that role. They refuse to drain themselves dry for people who might not even notice, let alone appreciate the sacrifice. Instead, they prioritize their well-being, their goals, and their boundaries, because they know that's the only way to truly thrive. And here's the twist. Their radical selfishness actually benefits everyone around them. By taking care of themselves first, Sigma females show up in their relationships as stronger, healthier, and more authentic versions of themselves. They don't give out of guilt or obligation, they give from a place of abundance. Their love, time, and energy aren't spread thin, they're intentional, meaningful, and impactful. This mindset can be jarring for those who expect women to constantly give, and give some more. But Sigma females don't play by those outdated rules. They know their worth isn't measured by how much they sacrifice. They prioritize themselves not to push others away, but to ensure they never betray their own needs. In a world that glorifies selflessness to the point of self-destruction, their unapologetic approach is a radical and much-needed act of rebellion. Number 7. Feminine power without soft edges. Sigma females have no interest in softening their strength to fit into anyone's idea of what femininity should be. They are unapologetically powerful and confident, and they don't believe in dulling their edges to make others feel more comfortable. In a world that often expects women to be gentle, nurturing, or passive to be liked, Sigma females know that true respect isn't earned through compliance. It's earned through authenticity and conviction. They're not here to be palatable. They're here to be respected. Sigma females understand that discomfort is a natural byproduct of power. When you stand firm in who you are, not everyone will like you. But that's okay, because they're not seeking approval or trying to mold themselves into a version of femininity that fits neatly into someone else's expectations. The strength they carry is unshakable, and it doesn't need to be dressed up in a way that's more acceptable to society's standards. In fact, they know that discomfort often breeds respect rather than rejection. People respect what challenges them, what pushes them out of their comfort zones. Sigma females embody that raw, unapologetic strength that forces people to confront their own biases, assumptions, and limitations. They understand that while others might try to avoid their intensity, they will ultimately respect them for it. Feminine power doesn't have to come with soft edges or a pleasant smile. Sigma females know that real power lies in being unapologetically strong, without the need for others to approve of it. They've shattered the illusion that women have to be gentle to be respected, proving that power, when owned fully, is always magnetic, even if it makes a few people uncomfortable along the way. Number 8. Blending masculine and feminine traits. Seamlessly, Sigma females aren't interested in conforming to the rigid, outdated boxes society has placed around gender traits. They blend masculine and feminine qualities effortlessly, creating a dynamic version of themselves that's unbound by convention. They adopt assertiveness, strategic thinking, and independence, traits often labeled as masculine but they do so without losing the core of their feminine essence. For them, these characteristics don't cancel each other out. They complement each other, allowing them to operate on a level that few can match. Where most women might feel pressure to choose between being nurturing or strong, Sigma females understand that they don't have to pick a side. They can be both. They'll negotiate a deal with the same sharpness and confidence as any man, and then seamlessly shift into a role where empathy and care take precedence, always maintaining the authenticity of who they are. It's not about pretending to be something they're not. It's about embracing the full range of what it means to be a complete person. Their independence is not a rejection of femininity. It's an embodiment of it. Sigma females are not afraid to take the lead, to pursue their goals with relentless ambition, or to stand firm in their beliefs, all while remaining grounded in their feminine energy. They understand that power doesn't have a gender. Strength, intelligence, and independence are human qualities, universal, not tied to one specific identity. This ability to blend masculine and feminine traits without losing either makes Sigma females unpredictable and multidimensional. They know how to assert themselves in a world that often demands women to be soft and accommodating, but they do so without sacrificing the depth of their emotional intelligence or their authentic sense of self. In a way, it's this fluidity that gives them an unmatched kind of power, one that can shift effortlessly between worlds, taking the best of both. Number 9. The art of being undecipherable. Sigma females have perfected the art of being undecipherable. They don't hand the world an easy narrative or play into the simplistic boxes that people try to put them in. Every layer of who they are is intentionally complex, forcing others to constantly question their assumptions about power, femininity, and everything in between. Where many women feel the pressure to be one thing, sweet, nurturing, the ideal version of femininity, Sigma females thrive on being a puzzle that can't be solved with surface-level analysis. They are the contradiction that doesn't make sense on paper, and that's what makes them so magnetic. They might be unapologetically strong and assertive, yet deeply empathetic. Fiercely independent, yet capable of forming strong, authentic connections. The more you try to figure them out, the more layers you peel back, only to find something deeper, more intriguing, and impossible to label. This intentional complexity isn't about playing games. It's about asserting control over their narrative. Sigma females refuse to be simplified into neat categories. They understand that power is in the mystery. When you give people everything, they grow bored. But when you keep things elusive, they can't help but lean in, trying to understand what lies beneath the surface. That's where the power is, making others question their expectations and assumptions, creating a space where the only thing they can truly rely on is the unpredictability of the Sigma female herself. By being undecipherable, Sigma females force people to confront their own biases and narrow views of femininity and strength. They redefine what it means to be a powerful woman, showing the world that true power isn't about fitting a mold. It's about being so uniquely yourself that no one can ever fully decode you. Number 10. Unshackled from gender expectations. Sigma. Females are unshackled from the suffocating constraints of gender expectations. The world might try to hand them a checklist of what a woman should be: polite, nurturing, always accommodating, always pleasant. But Sigma females rip that list to shreds. They aren't interested in following someone else's rules or adhering to anyone's narrow definition of femininity. Instead, they burn that list and write their own script, one that's unapologetically true to who they are. Where society often asks women to shrink, Sigma females expand. They refuse to be defined by outdated standards or boxed into any role that doesn't resonate with their authentic selves. They're not here to please others or fit into a category. They're here to live on their own terms, guided by their own values. If that means being ambitious, assertive, and independent, while still embracing their emotional depth, so be it. If it means challenging the traditional role of women in relationships or leadership, they do it without hesitation. Sigma females show the world that femininity isn't a one-size-fits-all. It's not about conforming to someone else's idea of what you should be. It's about creating your own narrative, being unapologetically yourself, and daring to live outside of the rules that others try to impose. They don't ask for permission to exist as they are, and they sure as hell don't need anyone's approval to do it. They are rewriting the definition of what it means to be a woman, and in the process, they're reshaping the future of femininity itself. In a world that constantly tries to define, label, and categorize, Sigma females stand as a powerful testament to the freedom of self-determination. They don't follow the rules, they rewrite them. Unshackled from society's tired expectations of femininity, they exist as a blend of strength and softness, complexity and simplicity, power and grace. Their unapologetic independence, blended with their emotional intelligence, challenges every preconceived notion about what it means to be a woman in today's world. Sigma females are the future of femininity because they refuse to fit into molds. Instead, they create their own. They live life on their own terms, not for validation, not for acceptance, but because they understand that the most authentic version of themselves is the one that will leave the greatest impact. They have no interest in being liked. They want to be respected for who they are, not what others think they should be. By embracing both masculine and feminine traits seamlessly, they show the world that power doesn't belong to any one gender, nor does strength need to be softened to be appreciated. They remind us all that true femininity isn't about fitting a standard. It's about owning your narrative, challenging norms, and redefining what it means to be a woman. The Sigma female is unapologetically herself, and in doing so, she forges a path that others will inevitably follow. She is the future of femininity, not because she adheres to society's rules, but because she dares to break them and pave the way for a new, more inclusive, and powerful definition of womanhood. If you've resonated with what we've discussed and want to see more of this kind of content, make sure to subscribe to stay updated on future videos. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and share this with anyone who needs to hear it. Your support helps us grow and continue delivering the content that challenges, inspires, and empowers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, my ladies. See you in the next video. Bye for now, and God bless.